Welcome to Acoustic Guitar, Episode 9, the chords and patterns of DADGAD tuning. Well, the tuning of the guitar to DADGAD creates a suspended fourth chord when the guitar is strummed across all of the open strings. And generally this sound is considered as kind of an unresolved harmony, and when it's performed, it sort of comes across as seeming a little bit stressed, like... It's almost like it wants some resolution to occur as you're going through different shapes and patterns of chords when you're using it. Now, the advantage, though, of performing songs in the key of, let's say, D major and D minor using the tuning of DADGAD is that nearly every hit on some of these open strings here are going to provide us with a sound that's kind of begging for some resolution, So that's probably why almost every song that uses DADGAD is based upon the D tonic. So what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to study the chord patterns that are popular to DADGAD, and we're also going to take a number of riffs and look them over and do some examples of ideas that are composed in using this tuning as well. So let's not waste any more time. We'll zoom in on the neck and get started on this lesson of the chords and patterns of DADGAD tuning. In example 1, we're going to take a look at some open chords of D5, G with B in the bass, and A fifth. And we're just going to work through the shapes at first, and I got a nice riff I want to go through with you as well. So starting there on the D5 chord, what we have going on is D open, A, D again. We're going to add in an A tone on 3rd string, 2nd fret with our middle finger, and then we're going to have another A tone on 2nd string open, and then D up on the top string open. That's going to be our D5 chord that we're going to use, and that's going to sort of substitute for some, work off of the major. There are major voicings we can add, but they're not as nice and friendly as this, and this will work fantastic for some major riffs that we're going to look at. Also, we're going to do a G chord with B in the bass, so we have 2nd fret B on that 5th string. We're also going to use some D open string once in a while there as well, but the focus will be on that 2nd string B, or 2nd fret 5th string B, pardon me, and then open 4th string, open 3rd string, because that's going to give us another D and a G there, and then we're going to add in a B again on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, and then up on top we're also going to have a D tone, that open 1st string D. And that's going to be our G chord with B in the bass. And then finally, we're going to have another A fifth, and in this case, we're going to start from open 5th string, and then we're going to have an E tone and an A tone found on the 4th and 3rd strings at 2nd fret, and then we're also going to have an open 2nd string, so that'll be another A, and then up on top we'll have an E tone there. So you can play that with your small finger up on the top there. And that's going to give us our A chord. So now that we have these 3 chords, we can start doing some riffs, and I have a riff for you here in example 1. And what's happening with it's really straightforward. We're going to just take from the open 6th string, go to the open 4th, and then we'll have our 2nd fret 3rd string with open 2nd string. Bit of a groove there with some 16th notes, and then we're going to move forward and backward on that 3rd string, going 2nd to 4th fret, back to 2nd fret, and then open up that 3rd string and play another open 4th string. So this is the whole first measure. All right, and then in the second measure, we're going to put to work that G chord with B in the bass. We're just going to walk through it almost like arpeggiating it. And then we'll move to that A chord. And that'll work to turn us around there back to the top. So really simple stuff in the second measure. The G with B in the bass. And then that A major chord. So if I put both those measures together, I have a real nice riff now. So there's your first example, chord patterns and a nice riff that you can try. This example number 1 in your handout. Now we're going to take a short break, come back in just a moment with example number 2, where we'll look at some open chords of D minor, C major, and A minor, and with that color we're going to be able to do some work in the minor tonality in DADGAD tuning. In example number 2, we're going to take a look at some open chords that have to do more so on the minor tonality. Now, the major chords we had from example 1, they're covering the sounds obviously of D major, but when we move into the sound of D minor, which is equally important in the DADGAD tuning, we want to have some chords that really fit with that minor tonality. They really need to be addressed. So what we're going to take a look at first is a D minor shape that's starting off, giving us some notes here out of that open position. We're going to have open open D, and then open A. And then we're going to move into this F here that's found on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. So low open D, low open A there, F tone coming up on 4th string, and then there's an A on the 3rd string. There's another open A found on the 2nd string open, and then up on top we've got actually another F. So we've got 2 Fs, which is really important because those F tones, they make up the sound of the minor 3rd, and against the D, that's giving us our minor tonality. If we raised it, that would give us the major, but with the F natural against the D, that's giving us obviously the sound of minor off that D tone. Now let's take a look at another chord that's important for us here. This is going to be a turnaround chord. It's going to be C major, kind of a vital turnaround idea in the key of D minor because it's the flatted 7th chord. Oftentimes you'll hear that as a resolution. And what we're doing in this chord setup here is we're taking the C tone off of the 5th string 3rd fret, adding in an E on the 4th string 2nd fret, and then open 3rd string G comes in, and then there's another C, and this C is going to be located up here on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And that's going to be a nice pull to resolve back to the D minor. Now there's one more chord that we're going to take a look at, and that's going to be an A minor. And if you think about harmony, in respect to where the A minor would come from, it's basically the 5 chord in the key of D minor. So again, it's going to have some nice pull. You could set the fingering up in a couple of different ways. You could do it like this with the index finger, middle finger on the 4th and 3rd strings. And that's getting you an E and an A. You'll have an open 5th string A as well. And then up on top, you're going to have your minor 3rd there, which is going to be a C natural. You can hear the nice resolution that we have when we have those pulls. Another way that, though, I wanted to mention, however, to do the A minor is to bar it with your index finger and then just grab in there with your ring finger. So that's kind of an optional fingering that you can have for that A minor. Right, some nice colors that can happen there. When we take a look at the example riff that I've got for you, what's happening there is we're coming off the low 6th string D, and then we're going to pedal there on F and A tones. And then up top there we have that high F natural, and then we have open 2nd string. And remember, that's an A. It's kind of like we're arpeggiating it, basically, I guess you could say. Let's try that again. And then from there, in the next measure, we're going to move to the C chord. And then back to the D. And then the A minor. So some interesting colors, some nice sounds going on there with that. One more time. Back to the D minor, and the A minor. All right. All right, so you got a couple of examples here to try and mess around with of the D minor, C major, A minor ideas, and with that you can establish some nice sounds in the key of D minor. And we're going to take a short break though, come back in just a moment with example 3, where I've got some nice movable chords that we're going to take a look at. I really like this example. It's probably the most popular way that I actually will personally utilize DADGAD tuning. So we'll take a short break, come back in a moment, and I'll show you these ideas. Hey everyone, Andrew Wasson. Just wanted to make a quick announcement about creativeguitarstudio.com. You know, if you haven't grabbed a free membership yet, just head to the website, click on Create Account, fill this form out, and you got a free lifetime account to the website. Once that's in place, you can just jump into the members area here where we got all the lesson plans. And my quick announcement I wanted to make is I'm really excited because we've got the latest installment in the Advanced Guitar program posted to the site. Now, in the Advanced Guitar program is packed full of information. Each of these project lessons is around 2.5 hours of instruction. There's probably around 160 to 180 hours of instruction just in these lesson plans alone. The latest installment covers minor pentatonic, and there's 24 videos. This lesson plan is 2 hours and 45 minutes long when you run through all the lessons. If you've got a full premium membership, you can download the course files and an MP3 jam track. It's really quite the program. So if you're looking for a really serious guitar course online, right from beginner, you know, I've got the introductory program here, or intermediate, if you feel like you're more of an intermediate player and you want to work through, you know, lesson plans that are really geared to understanding the guitar fingerboard much better. You know, so if that's kind of your level, I've got those set up. But, you know, a lot of people really enjoy the advanced material. It's all the major scales, major 7 arpeggios and chords and minors and pentatonics and lots of improvisation exercises throughout here. So if you really want to jump into some great step-by-step material that is really organized, and in no way is it some kind of random guitar course. Like, I know I've heard so many complaints over the years about all the random lessons, and then probably for a lot of you, you're sick of the random lessons on YouTube that don't follow any kind of order and sequence. Well, you know, grab your free membership, start with that. But, you know, when you're ready to advance to sort of the next level there, you can grab one of my membership plans. Basic monthly membership's $19.95 a month, and then if you want to upgrade to the premium package, you do save $60. It's a one-time payment of $179.40, but that does give you full access to everything on the site. If you want a great step-by-step, well-organized guitar course, just head over to creativeguitarstudio.com and set up your membership today. In example 3, we're going to take a look at some unique sounds now. We're sort of moving into expanded harmony in the tuning here. So in example 3, we're going to introduce some important movable chord patterns to help with performing other chord types. And we're really going to be focused on trying to generate some interesting sounds here off of D major. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up some unique voicings. We're going to start with a D major that's quite unique. It's up here off of the 12th and 11th frets. And what's happening, I mean, that's a full D chord. I know it sounds kind of spacious and unique and everything, but again, that's the point of DADGAD tuning, is it's giving this, you know, really different sound. Now, what's happening here is we're not playing anything, by the way, on the 5th string. We just have 6th string D at the 12th fret, 4th string D at the 12th fret, and then we have an 11th fret F sharp coming in, open A string, and open D string on top. So that's our first chord. Now, another chord that we're going to take a look at is based out of the 4th position here. And in this position, what we're doing is we're getting a G sound together. It's kind of more like a G add 2 color, though, because of those open strings. And I'll kind of break this down for you. We're going to have the G on the 6th string, G on the 4th string. Again, our fingers laying down a little bit, and we're killing out the sound of 5th string. And you can see, too, the unique fingering I'm using here, because I'm using fingers that are going to allow me to have everything well fretted, well tuned in, so I can get those open strings on top. So I'm using ring, 4th finger, and middle finger. Now, the G's come in real heavy on this you know, voicing, and then there's a B, the major 3rd, coming in here on that 3rd string, in this case 4th fret. Also on the top, we've got this A open string, and we've got a D tone. Now the D tone is completely fine, that's just a perfect 5th inside the chord, but the A is quite unique, and that's why I was saying that it's more like a G add 2 color. But it sounds great. And then what we're going to also introduce is a B minor. You know, if you're working in the key of D major, you know, B minor is quite a critical chord to know. Now what's happening here is we've got the minor equivalent of these major shapes that we were just scooting along the neck. What's happening though is we've got a B tone down below at the 9th fret, another B on the 9th fret of the 4th string. So 9th fret 6th string, 9th fret 4th string, and then here's your other color, your minor color and that's a D tone found there on the 3rd guitar string at that 7th fret. On top of that, we've got an A open string, of course, as always. You know, all these voicings got the same open strings on top. Now the A just kind of generates the sound out of this more like a B minor 7. And then on the very top end there, we've just got another D, so another minor 3rd in there. So very cool voicings. You could dream up all kinds of cool riffs with these chords alone. You know, you got the major and minor colors here. You can tell too I'm using a flat pick with this. I've decided to not do this one fingerstyle because, you know, as you can get the impression from the way we're setting things up here, I'm moving to really do a strumming approach with this instead of a fingerstyle approach. So let's move on to the riff example that I have in example 3 here. What's going on is we're going to start up high on the neck with that D major sound. And from there we're going to go directly to an old friend there. The first D chord that we were discussing earlier, it's that D5, and that's just all open strings except for that 2nd fret on 3rd string. Great sound there. So we got the high D major color into this D5, you know, really taking advantage of the, you know, the shape, the span of the neck that we have, that, you know, coming across into those open strings. And then from there, what we're going to do next is move to that G add 2 sound. And then as a turnaround idea, we're going to go into the 7th position and take care of things with that B minor 7 sound. And just kind of jam on it there with some 16th note rhythm. So all together, we get this. Just like that. That's one thing I was going to mention there before I started riffing out on that thing. There's a couple of open hits on the open D just before you make it into 2nd measure. But, you know, if you have the chart in front of you, you're reading all this right now, you can tell it's like a 16th note on the 4th beat heading into a dotted 8th. So it's just like 4E and a little bit of resonance there before we head over to the G chord sound. And so it's got like a real laid back feel, but I mean, it's just so cool with those open strings up top. I mean, it sounds fantastic. All right. So that brings us to the end of Lesson 9, Part 1, Chords and Patterns of the DADGAD Tuning. Now coming up for you in Part 2, if you're in the members area, you know, maybe you're watching this on YouTube or something, you found it on another website or wherever. People post my stuff all over the internet. So I don't know if you found it on YouTube or wherever and, you know, you're curious of what's happening next. I'm going to be doing some interesting sounds based around some bluesy colors next. Getting some of these dominant 7th chords going. I really think you're going to dig this stuff coming up. So we're going to check out some pretty interesting voicings. We're going to have some big stretches. And, you know, just unique sounds. So we're going to look at some bluesy based concepts. You know, stuff that, no, it's not 100% blues, but, you know, you can find it in folk music, country sounds. You know, it's a really cool aspect to start adding in some of the blues based harmony, though. So we're going to look at that, you know, have a jam for you covering, you know, some sounds. So you have nice licks and stuff coming your way on that. And then we're also going to look at some really unique chord voicings. You know, I want to cover more sounds of, you know, these B minors. I was mentioning on example 3 there just how vital it is to have that sound, you know, B minor into your playing. We're going to look at some unique voicings. You know, give you some really good colors out of that. We're going to look at some new ways to play chords that are also important, like A major, and we're even going to add in an E minor chord idea for you. So I've also got a riff, you know, that's going to be involved in that. So some really good stuff coming up in Part 2. And, you know, if you're not a member of the website over at creativeguitarstudio.com, at least go and get your free membership and just, you know, go and check it out. I'm not doing it like a lot of these websites are where you got to like give a credit card number and all this stuff. Just go and punch in a username and a password and go into my site and check it out. There's loads of stuff in there. You're going to get a chance to look at everything just as if you were a paying member. You can look at everything. You're not going to be able to access everything. You know, that's the whole point of the paid memberships. But you're going to be able to check it out, see exactly what you're going to be getting, and you'll know exactly how it's all laid out, and you're going to be blown away at the amount of stuff that's in there and how detailed it is. And when you look at my courses, they are unlike anything out there because they're very step-by-step oriented. I took a lot of the basics that I was getting when I was going to the Musicians Institute out in Hollywood, back years ago when I got my education on guitar, and I've broken it all down into a very easy to understand beginner program, intermediate program, and advanced program, so you can really get your chops together and understand how this instrument operates. So like I was saying, go check it out, creativeguitarstudio.com. You can find it easily enough, and just grab a free membership, go inside and check it all out and see what it's all about there. So anyway, that wraps up our part 1, and hopefully I'll catch up with you next in the members area for part 2. The Music Reading Phase 1 ebook has over 30 pages of comprehensive project lessons covering the entire 5th reading position on the guitar. Music reading charts and drills will work to help students memorize the positions of all the 5th position notes, including important sharp and flat tones. Several original and classic pieces of sheet music will help students to gain a solid understanding for this region of the neck. Rhythm studies, duration examples, plus song and location drills, along with 19 MP3 audio tracks, makes this one of the best music reading courses available. Music Reading Phase 1 is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com. Thanks for watching part 1 of the lesson. Be sure to sign up for a membership at creativeguitarstudio.com to watch part 2. In part 2, we'll study some dominant 7th chord patterns, some bluesy ideas, and some unique patterns in open and movable position. Plus, as a member, you'll also be able to download the handout for this episode, along with studying from many more professional guitar lessons.